little child, don't follow the sound. A whistle so sweet where the dark woods abound. For deep in the mountains, the Umbra lies, with shadowy fingers and hollow eyes. It calls in a tune that dances the air, a melody haunting a siren snare. Step too close and the trees will close tight, swallowing wanderers into the night. Whistle not, dear, or it will appear. The shadow will come, your breath it will hear. Through bramble and stone it slinks and it creeps, to drag you away where no soul speaks.
Welcome back to Hunting Shadows. I'm your host, David Adkisson. The Appalachian hills of Havenwood hold their secrets tightly, but over the past 2 episodes, we've begun to pry them loose. We started with the disappearance of Evelyn Parker, a talented photographer whose passion for exploring Havenwood's hidden corners led her to capture beauty and perhaps secrets that few others could see. Her vanishing left an unshakable mark on the town, a feeling of unease that grew heavier when Sarah Wilcox was found murdered, the crescent moon symbol carved into a tree near her body. Last week, we uncovered new pieces of this unsettling puzzle. Evelyn left behind a voicemail suggesting she felt she was being followed. Witnesses like Jacob Harper painted an even darker picture, while our interview with Daniel Hurst hinted at connections between the victims that were anything but coincidental. And then there's Detective Claire Monahan. Her actions and omissions have left us wondering, how much does she know, and what isn't she telling us? Tonight, we take another step into the unknown. The crescent moon symbol has appeared again and again, leaving us to question its deeper meaning. To uncover the secrets behind this mysterious and compelling mark, I spoke with Dr. Margaret Thorne, a local historian who has spent years exploring the folklore, symbols, and beliefs that have shaped cultures across centuries, from Appalachian legends to global mythologies. Could this be the key to unraveling Evelyn's disappearance and the crimes that have haunted Havenwood? Let's begin. Episode 3, Marked by the Moon. Dr. Margaret Thorne's office is a historian's treasure trove, filled with shelves of aged books, maps pinned to the walls, and curiosities from around the world. A soft amber light bathes the room, giving it an air of both scholarship and mystery. Thank you for joining us on Hunting Shadows, Dr. Thorne. Your work has been instrumental in uncovering the meanings behind symbols and their layered meanings. Can you start by telling our listeners a bit about your background and what drew you to folklore and symbols?
Of course, David. My academic journey began in cultural anthropology, where I specialized in the intersection of mythology and societal behavior. Over the years, I've studied symbols and folklore across continents, from ancient Celtic runes to the enigmatic carvings found in the Andes. What fascinates me most is how these symbols carry layered meanings, often rooted in human fears, hopes, and beliefs. When I settled here in Havenwood, I was captivated by the rich tapestry of stories embedded in the Appalachian culture, stories that still resonate and evolve today.
That's an incredible breadth of expertise, Dr. Thorne. In the cases I've been investigating, Evelyn Parker's disappearance and the murder of Sarah Wilcox, this crescent moon symbol with a circle inside keeps appearing. I have a drawing of it here. Are you familiar with it? What do you make of its design and its repeated appearances in these cases?
The crescent moon has long been a symbol of transition and the unknown. Across various cultures, it represents the liminal space between light and dark, life and death, the seen and the unseen. Here in Appalachia, it's tied to legends of entities that dwell in the in-between spaces, the mountains, the forests, places humans don't fully control or understand. It's no surprise to me that this symbol has been found at the heart of such unsettling events.
Are there any specific Appalachian legends that you believe connect to this crescent moon?
Absolutely. One that stands out is the story of the Umbra, a shadowy figure said to lure people into the mountains with its haunting whistle. The unique combination of the crescent moon and the circle inside it makes it particularly striking. It almost resembles an eye, which some say represents the Umbra's ability to see its victims, or perhaps the idea that those who encounter it have seen too much. It's believed to appear during times of turmoil, often targeting those who are vulnerable or seeking something, answers, closure, even escape. The crescent moon in this context could act as both a warning and a threshold, marking the places where the Umbra's influence is strongest.
That's so fascinating and chilling all at the same time. Could the Umbra be purely metaphorical, or do you believe there's something more to it?
Legends like this often have roots in metaphor, but they're also shaped by real fears and events. The mountains have always been places of mystery where people vanish or experience things they can't explain. Whether the Umbra is a literal entity or a projection of human anxieties, its power lies in how deeply it's woven into the fabric of Appalachian life.
Dr. Thorne, your insights give us a lot to think about as we piece together the significance of this symbol. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a few more questions to deepen our understanding. First, how do symbols like this evolve over time? Do you think the crescent moon symbol might have had a different meaning before its association with the Umbra legend? And if the legend of the Umbra and its regional use here are linked, why do you think more people haven't connected the two together already?
That's an excellent question. Symbols often shift in meaning as cultures change. What might have started as a symbol of hope or renewal could transform into something more ominous in times of fear or uncertainty. It's entirely possible the crescent moon was once a benign or even protective symbol before it became tied to the Umbra. As for why more people haven't connected the crescent moon to the Umbra legend, I believe it has to do with the nature of folklore itself. These stories are often fragmented, passed down orally, and influenced by regional variations. The connection might seem obvious to someone who studies these symbols in depth, but for the average person, the layers of meaning can be obscured by time and context. It's like trying to piece together a puzzle where some of the pieces are missing or deliberately hidden.
Do you think the use of the symbol in these recent cases is intentional? Could someone be leveraging its historical weight to send a message?
It's certainly possible. The deliberate use of a symbol like this could be a way to invoke fear or establish control. The crescent moon's historical and cultural significance gives it a psychological weight that would resonate deeply in a place like Havenwood.
One last question. Do you think symbols like this can affect how people behave? Could belief in the Umbra drive someone to act in ways they otherwise wouldn't?
Absolutely. The power of belief is profound. If someone truly believes in the Umbra, their actions might align with that fear or reverence, whether that means avoiding certain places or, in more extreme cases, committing acts they believe are tied to the legend. Symbols have a way of shaping reality for those who believe in them.
Thank you, Dr. Thorne. Your insights have truly opened up new avenues of thought as we explore this mystery. It seems the crescent moon is more than just a mark. It's a doorway into something far more complex.
What's your emergency?
I found something. There's a man. He's in a tree, and he's not moving. Oh God, there's something carved into it.
Sir, where are you?
Hollow Creek Trail, near the old oak. Please, you have to send someone. I can't.
Stay calm. Help is on the way. Can you safely move away from the scene?
Chapter 2. The trees will close tight. That was the 911 call that led authorities to a gruesome discovery earlier this week. A body, later identified as Ryan Fletcher, was found stuffed inside the dark, gnarled cavity of an ancient oak tree along Hollow Creek Trail. Known for his gentle demeanor and dedication to Havenwood's wildlife, Ryan's death has left the community reeling. Following this discovery, Detective Claire Monahan held a press conference to address the media. I attended the event, but chose to listen rather than ask questions, observing as the detective laid out the facts.
Good afternoon. At approximately 7:45 a.m., authorities responded to a 911 call reporting a body along Hollow Creek Trail. The victim has been identified as Ryan Fletcher, a local wildlife rescue worker. The scene bears similarities to the Sarah Wilcox case, with the crescent moon symbol again present. At this time, we are investigating these incidents as connected and exploring all possible leads.
Detective Monahan, do you believe these crimes are the work of a single individual?
It's too early to speculate, but the consistent elements suggest a pattern. We're keeping all possibilities on the table.
What about the timeline? How long do you believe Ryan Fletcher's body was there before it was discovered?
The coroner's preliminary analysis suggests the body was there for several days. We're awaiting a full report for confirmation.
Detective Monahan, are there any indications that these incidents suggest a pattern beyond the crescent moon symbol?
At this stage, the consistent elements point to a deliberate method, but we're not speculating further. Our focus remains on uncovering the truth through thorough investigation.
After the conference, I had the opportunity to sit down with Detective Monahan for a more in-depth conversation. She seemed guarded but committed to finding answers. Our discussion shed new light on her perspective, which we'll explore later in this episode. To better understand who Ryan Fletcher was, I spoke with Amanda Greer, one of his colleagues at the Havenwood Wildlife Rescue Center. Her voice carried a mix of sorrow and frustration as she recounted her time with him.
Ryan was the kind of person who could calm the most skittish animal. He had this way about him, this quiet patience that animals and people just trusted. Losing him like this, it doesn't make sense.
I asked Amanda about any unusual behavior Ryan might have exhibited in the weeks leading up to his death.
Now that you mention it, he had been acting differently. He mentioned hearing a ringing, almost a whistling sound in his ears. He said it started when Evelyn went missing, and mostly happened when he was near the woods. He thought it was Evelyn telling him to go look for her.
I asked Amanda if Ryan had shared anything else about his connection to Evelyn.
He was devastated when she went missing. They were so close. He was like a big brother to her. Their size difference always made me laugh. She was so petite and he was so tall. He made her look like a little kid standing next to him. but he cared for her deeply. Losing her hit him really hard.
Amanda's account aligns with other stories we've heard about the Umbra and its eerie connection to whistling sounds. Did Ryan say anything else about what he thought was happening?
Not much, just that he couldn't shake the feeling he was being watched. And then there was the notebook. I saw him with it once. It looked old, like something you find in a library's restricted section or something. He wouldn't let me see it, or what was inside of it.
Could this be the same mysterious journal Evelyn was known to carry? The connection between Evelyn and Ryan is becoming clearer, but what exactly it reveals remains shrouded in uncertainty. There's something more to their bond, something we have yet to fully grasp. With this discovery, the lines between what's known and what's hidden continue to blur, and the urgency to uncover the truth grows stronger. Chapter 3: Behind Closed Doors. Detective Monahan, thanks again for agreeing to speak with me at your office. I appreciate the chance to discuss this in more detail, especially away from the press. Let's start with the crime scene. Can you describe what you saw when you first arrived?
It was eerie. The Hollow Creek area is dense and quiet on a normal day, but it felt oppressive. The tree Ryan Fletcher was found in, an old oak, had the crescent moon symbol carved so deep into its bark that the sap had run down in dark, sticky streaks. His body was crammed in the hollow, limbs bent at unnatural angles. His face was frozen in an expression of pure terror, his mouth wide open as if he had been in mid-scream. What made it even worse was the state of his body. Decomposition had already begun, and maggots were crawling through the flesh of his arms and neck. Wildlife had clearly started feeding on him, leaving gnawed marks along his fingers and exposed skin. The stench was unbearable, thick and sour, like rotting meat mixed with damp earth. Truthfully, I didn't even make it to the crime scene right away. The smell hit me halfway down the trail, and I threw up. In all my years, I've never seen anything like this. It was a level of brutality and desecration that's hard to put into words. Whoever did this wasn't trying to hide a body. They were making a statement, staging it deliberately to terrify and shock.
Was there anything that linked the scene to Evelyn Parker? Perhaps another photograph like the one of the cracked sidewalk found at Sarah's crime scene?
How did you know the photo at Sarah Wilcox's scene was of a cracked sidewalk? I didn't tell you that.
I spoke with Daniel Hurst. He mentioned a photograph, and I assumed the one found by her body was the same.
Interesting. Yes, we found another photograph, this time in Ryan Fletcher's wallet. It was one of Evelyn's. On the back, she had written a note, but I'll get to that in a moment. So you've been talking to Daniel, huh?
I'm trying to piece together the full story. According to Daniel, there are discrepancies between his account and what I've learned from you.
I'm sure there are. Look, I'm doing everything I can to protect this investigation. My priority is finding Evelyn and bringing whoever did this to Ryan and Sarah to justice.
Detective, I didn't mean to imply otherwise. I appreciate the dedication you've shown to these cases. You mentioned a photograph found in Ryan's wallet. What was it of?
It was a tree trunk. One of Evelyn's distinctive shots. On the back, she had written a short note. For Ryan, keep looking up. Signed, Evelyn.
Do you think it could have been the same tree trunk where Ryan was found?
It's possible. The resemblance is striking, and it wouldn't be the first time Evelyn's photography has appeared to connect with these incidents. If it is the same tree, it raises even more questions about how she might be involved, or how much she knew before she disappeared.
Have you come across Evelyn's notebook, or one belonging to Sarah or Ryan?
Unfortunately, I haven't. I've been looking for it, but nothing's turned up yet.
Last question. Do you have any lead suspects in either of these murder cases?
There are a few people of interest, but I'm not ready to name anyone publicly. Rest assured, we're following every lead.
As we close this episode, let's revisit what we've learned. Evelyn Parker's disappearance remains a chilling mystery, but the pieces are slowly beginning to form a picture. Dr. Margaret Thorne introduced us to the legend of the Umbra, a figure of Appalachian folklore that lures its victims with a haunting whistle. While the tale is captivating, I remain skeptical that these cases are tied to what some might call a fairy tale. Yet the symbolism of the crescent moon and its ties to fear, transition, and the unknown cannot be ignored. Amanda Greer shed light on Ryan Fletcher's life and his connection to Evelyn. She also revealed a cryptic detail about a notebook he carried. Was it Evelyn's missing journal, or something of his own? Could they have been working on something together, uncovering truths that someone desperately wanted to keep hidden? And then Detective Monahan provided a haunting account of the crime scene, a staged tableau that felt more like a deliberate message than a random act. The photograph found in Ryan's wallet, one of Evelyn's signed works, raises unsettling questions. Was it merely a keepsake, or did it hold deeper meaning? Could the tree captured in Evelyn's photograph be the very one where Ryan was found? While we don't yet have all the answers, we're starting to see a pattern emerge, one that suggests these events are interconnected in ways we're only beginning to grasp. The crescent moon, Evelyn's photographs, and this mysterious notebook may hold the key to understanding the connection between these mysteries. Stay with us as we continue to unravel the truth. In Havenwood, legends and reality are closer than they seem, and sometimes the answers are hidden in plain sight. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I'm David Adkisson, and this is Hunting Shadows.
So when you hear music that's not from a bird, hold fast to the silence, don't say a word. For the Umbra is patient, and shadows are sly. Follow the whistle, and you'll surely die.
Breaking news out of Havenwood tonight. Local handyman Daniel Hurst has just been arrested by authorities in connection to the murders of Sarah Wilcox and Ryan Fletcher.
I'm innocent. They're setting me up. I never knew that guy. He was following me. They're setting me up. They're setting me up.
Arrest, with Hurst shouting as he was led away. Authorities have not released further details.
Drag you away where no soul speaks. So when you hear music that's not from a bird, hold fast to the silence, don't say a word. For the Umbra is patient, and shadows are sly. Follow the whistle, and you'll surely die.
Credits for Hunting Shadows. Episode 3, Marked by the Moon. Host and producer, David Adkisson. Created by Hot Air Productions. In partnership with Fake Crimes Production House, where the thrill of true crime meets the freedom of fiction. No one was harmed in the creation of this story. Episode 3. Special thanks to my sister for your unwavering support and constant encouragement. Your belief in me and this project has been a guiding light, From brainstorming ideas to cheering me on through late nights, you've been a vital part of bringing Hunting Shadows to life. Production team, writing, editing, and sound design, David Adkisson. Voice performances, David Adkisson. Powered by 11 Labs technology to deliver an immersive audio experience. Acknowledgements. This series wouldn't be possible without the unwavering support of family, friends, and the listeners who bring these stories into their hearts. Thank you for believing in this journey and for letting Hunting Shadows become a part of your imagination.